Today we're gonna attempt to grease the coupler on the engines. The coupler is right where the outdrive shaft is going through the hull and into the engine. So we're gonna have to remove that seat because we're gonna have to open all the way out so we can get to the far back of the bolt, because those zerks are buried in there. So for that job I'm using EP grease. EP stands for extreme pressure, and it's also extreme temperature for as you can see, 540 degrees Fahrenheit. That's hot. So this is not any particular reason why I'm using that brand. I'm not sponsored by this brand. I pay for this grease, so you don't have to use this particular brand, but you look for the EP grease, which is extreme pressure and extreme temperature. This one is red in color. Most of them will be red in color. They're good for this application because there's a spline, and that spline goes, there's a lot of friction on it, so you need to be greased very well. You can also use this on your trailer bearings and so forth. So enough on the grease, now on the gun. The gun itself, if you have the pump gun, it's not going to fit in there. It's very little space. This is a brand new one, and it's as you can see, this is a pistol grip, basically to give you less room to pump it, and it will be more convenient. You can handle it with one hand instead of using two hands, one to hold the gun and the other one to pump it. Now I can go in and use just the one hand. The other thing I'm going to use is also this flexible tip, and how it works is you loosen it up. Of course this is not assembled. I'm going to have to put some tape on it, Teflon tape, but the way it works is you just snap it on and you pump it on. Now the other grease things that I'm going to use is I'm going to loop all my cables. Now again, this is not sponsored by this particular product. I paid for it. I bought it myself. The only thing you got to look out for this is when you're lubricating all your connections on the engine for the cables, make sure you have a PTFE. So it has to contain PTFE. So any lubricant, this one is white, and I'm sure you see a lot of those white. It looks like a heavy grease. I'll show you when it's done. But that's all it is, and it has a PTFE in it, which helps it to be smooth, and it works itself into all the crevices on the joints, and it works, and this works very well. So like I said, not particular brand, but it has to have a PTFE, and it's what's going to work on those cables. Now you could get this from Quicksilver. It's going to be a similar, this is a similar product to it. Again, for lubricating all the cables on top of the engine, you have to look for PTFE. I'm using this particular product, and we'll see how this will work for me. It did work for me in the past, so I'm very confident that it's going to work. This is the pain in the butt job. It's going to be very hard to get back there to grease them, but you have to grease them. So let's grease that monkey, and let's start taking apart that bench. Now we have this gun fully assembled. Yes, you're going to need a couple tools to do it. Hand tied will not do it, but very light hand tied with these tools will work just fine. And as you can see, I got the Teflon tape in there just in case. So everything is nice and sealed and ready to do the job. Now we have to unscrew this, and you take this out, you put this in here, and then before you put the cap on, you take this off, and the grease will be pushed through here and into the coupler. Strip this, pull on this. To release it, you press this. Oops. So this will hold it. Now you pull it and you press on it and it will release itself. Got to make sure there's no dirt in here. We don't want to push any dirt with the grease. So we're just going to pull it all up like that. There was some grease in there. It's probably when they were testing it. I'm going to wipe it all up. We don't want the old grease in there. Don't know what the grease is. There wasn't a lot. So let's do this. I'm going to take this off. So it's a red grease. Now we're going to put that in here like this. Now we're going to take this off. Now just open it like a can of pop. That's it. Now as you can see, there's a lip here, so this will stop. It won't go any further than the lip. So you take this off. Bam. I'm gonna leave the grease in there. I don't need the grease outside, I need it inside. Now we're gonna wipe this off. Don't want to grease. You could grease it, the threads, but we don't want that on the threads. Now all you have to do is just put this on and screw it back in. Just make sure you don't double thread it. So go backwards a couple times until, let me show you again. So when you go in, you go backwards until you hear a little there it is, see? Now I got the thread and it's gotta go easy just like that. And you screw it in until it's completely in. Now you give it a little tug once it's in. Now what happens is the little lip that was on it, the little lip that was on the tube, actually what's going to happen is going to get smooshed a little bit, and it will fill the void between this tube and this cap, and that little thing, that little lip on that tube will make it sealed. So the grease does not come through these threads here. It's going to be forced out through here. Now there's a couple things on this for if you want to change your tips. But and you can do that by just taking this off and you're putting these tips back on. This is a greaser. Just push it in and it will grease it in. I guess you can put air through here. I don't know. I know that's a pressure release, which is a good idea. You release the pressure and the grease is not going to drip out of here. Well, we'll see how this works. So far so good. Now to make this work, because there's a spring and a piston is pushing it through, just going to release this and this will just push it in. So again, you pull on a little bit, you pull on a little bit and you press on this, and now you can push this in just like that. So now this rod, there's a rod in here, it just pushes through and the piston is under pressure of the spring. It's up here, but this gun is very small, and now I can go and do it with one hand. Give it that I'll reach down there and hook it up, and then I can use only one hand to pump all the grease in. Now how many pumps and where the zerks are, we're gonna go see the manual for that and we'll go from there.